Call to order the meeting of the Lake Mills City Council for April 7th, 2015. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the roll, please. Heather?
Mr. Grunin?
Here.
Mr. Kurkovich?
Here.
Mr. Schar?
Here.
Mr. Foster?
Here.
Mrs. Fritsch? Here.
Item 3, correction and approval of the city council minutes for March 17th, 2015. Do I hear a motion of acceptance?
So moved.
And a
Second.
Please call the roll. Heather?
Mr. Kurkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Schar?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Abstain.
Mrs. Fritsch? Aye. Mr. Grunin?
Aye.
Motion passed 4-1? 4-0? With one abstaining.
And item 4, correspondence. Diane?
Just had some questions about the brush pickup with Mr. Wilkie tonight, and he clarified that there will be a later leaf pickup as well for the oak trees and trees like them that drop really late in spring. But the pickup that's in process right now is basically for tree branches and shrub branches. And the outsides of the branches need to be facing the road so they can grab them and push them right into their little chopper-up machine.
And that's next
That's
week?
this week.
Oh, this week?
Yeah, it's the
thought
thing
they-
in the paper says, brush put out by after April 17th will not be picked up. So
Okay.
it's this week, Monday, today is the first, yesterday was the first day.
Okay, very
It
good.
will go through next week.
All week, next week,
Yeah, from this,
not the 17th.
yeah,
Or is the
well,
17th
they'll,
the end
they'll
of the week?
continue, any brush put out after the 17th, they won't pick up,
Okay, so it's 2 weeks really. then.
basically 2 weeks.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. That's all I had.
Steve?
The only one I had, I was invited to an Eagle Scout ceremony for a pair of brothers, so I guess congratulations to Miguel and Samuel. It's a pretty good honor. So other than that, quiet week.
Just the Eagle Scout invitation.
I had the Eagle Scout invitation also, and I also received a call today, some questions about the trees that have been cut down out there in the Brookstone area, what they were cutting those down for, why they cut them down in the tree lawn. 'Cause there's a bunch of them that are gone now, and I didn't have an answer for them why they were taken down.
I don't know either.
Could they be ash
Yeah,
trees?
I don't know.
we're
They
still in
might
the
have been.
process of removing some of the ash,
Yeah, I bet it's ash trees.
and I didn't see which ones were ribboned, but
Yeah.
They were street trees in the Brookstone
Yeah,
subdivision?
Yes, yes.
They could have also been dead or diseased, and
Okay.
Rob would have removed them.
Yeah.
They generally go through and do an evaluation and determine what trees they're removing. Probably top of the list would be ash.
And they're in the process, are they not, the Parks Department, of taking out trees right now? And
This is
Damaged
the-
trees,
this-
broken
in the
trees,
early
whatever.
spring and the late fall is when they do all their tree removals.
And
They've been doing a very nice job of their trimming,
Yeah.
very well trimmed. We have some good, talented tree people.
and I too got a invitation to the Eagle Scout ceremony, and again, extend our congratulations to the brothers. Also had a call from the citizens group on the odor, and they were having a meeting on Thursday evening at 7:30, and I think it's downstairs. And the public is invited. I was also invited. I was not able to attend due to prior commitments, but anybody interested in attending that should certainly attend on Thursday at 7:30 downstairs. Anything else? Okay, closed correspondence. Item 5, questions and public comment. The public is encouraged to address the council at this time regarding items on the agenda unless the item is subject of a public hearing. If your comments pertain to public hearing, you are asked to hold your comments until that hearing. Public comments may also be made at this time on items that are not on the agenda. If you have registered with the city clerk before the meeting was called to order, the state open meeting law discourages action by the council on items not listed on the agenda. Please keep your comments limited to 3 minutes and state your name and address when starting your comments, and fill out and sign the sheet provided on the podium. Anybody like to address the council? If not, we'll close that. Then I'll let city managers report. Steve?
There was correspondence, was a letter from Bob Mangan that I provided to you about impact fees and land swapping. Also provided the Arbor Day package, which congratulated the city on their well-managed urban forest. I also provided in the information tonight an email that discussed that the plans and specifications for the Lake Mills Dam project have been submitted to the WDNR for review and issuance of a Chapter 31 permit. This means the plans are complete pending any revisions required by the DNR. The engineer anticipates being able to bid the project shortly after April 15th. Also, congratulations to Miguel and Samuel Quintana on being awarded the rank of Eagle Scout. Miguel's project was the fishing pier behind the American Legion, and Samuel's was the cannon pad in front of the American Legion. They will go through their ceremony at 6:30 on April 18th at Trinity Lutheran Church. The Citizens for a Better Environment meeting you already mentioned, but on April, I'm going to say April 10th, although I'm not going to guarantee it right now, is the permit hearing for the unlimited renewables from the DNR that will be held here in this building. We also got notice from Jeff Gust of WISDOT, and he notified us that we still owe $14,890 as part of the culvert collapse from the 2013 project. They had originally estimated our cost to be about $45,000 based on the total project and our percentage that we were going to be required to pay. They anticipated the engineering to be somewhere between $60,000 and $75,000. We actually only ended up paying $30,000 for engineering costs. So based on us submitting those costs, and they kept asking, is that all the costs you have? Is that all the costs you have? Finally, they sent back and said, well, then you still owe us basically $15,000, which comes out of the project cost when we get it in 2018. But that will be part of the final state municipal agreement. I did provide you a lot of information tonight on a subject that's not on the agenda, and that is the detour for the Highway 89 project, and that was the state came in and announced that they're going to recommend the detour be 94 to 26 to 18. Now, I just have a hard time finding a truck leaving Wisco, driving back out to the interstate, taking 94 over to 26 and back around to get to the south end of the city. I don't see that happening. And there are several other situations that I've mentioned in the memo that I think are going to become important issues and that the council may want to get on their agenda or set up in some form a study session or something to discuss those issues. Other than that, I don't have anything else to add. Are there any questions?
I have one, Steve, and that's on the project on County V by the entrance across from the Lake Mills Market, the lift station. When is that going to be completed?
Well, there are basically a couple small items left to do, mainly paving, when it was scheduled to be paved as asphalt. So until the plants actually open up, it's not going to, so whenever the plants start opening up, which should be somewhere around the beginning of May, May 15th in there.
Well, it looks like they've got a temporary UHF link. That's not going to stay like that, is it?
They have a,
I guess that's to the, what is it, SCADA system.
yeah. Is it still on the wood post?
It's on a metal tripod-looking thing, but it
No,
really
it,
doesn't look like it's a permanent installation.
there's a, they're basically going to have a steel rod clamped to the stainless steel box,
Okay.
and it'll run about 2 feet, and then it'll have a whip antenna that runs about 4 feet, and that'll be, smaller than my finger, and that'll go up in there. But they have the grading and seeding, the asphalt drive, some of the other landscaping issues to handle, but other than that, I think the final conversion is done as far as pumping.
Okay.
A question for Steve?
Sure.
Steve, we have in our packet a proposed land donation potential. Are we having a closed session on that, Vicki, or will it be open agenda item, or how are we treating that?
That was the Manga one that I brought up?
Yeah.
And I guess that's up to the council how they want to handle that. If they want to have a closed session at the end of the next meeting or whenever to discuss it, or if they want to handle it in open session. I mean, ultimately, you'll have to have a open session discussion about it and one way or the other, but
The only reason I mentioned the closed session might be for legal briefing on it before we go to open.
Yeah, I would recommend that you have a closed session. We were going to do a closed session anyway next time on a different matter, and so if you're going to be in closed session, you might as well do two.
Sounds good, doesn't it? Okay, thank you.
I have one other question. For item D, with the library board, it says discussion decision. Is there a decision to be made tonight?
no.
Okay,
I-
good.
I tried to make it as clear as possible. There was some confusion when the first email came out about how soon they needed it, and then it became clear that they didn't need it until May. And the library discussed it last night, and Gerard will be here, in fact, Gerard is here tonight to discuss it at the time to help us kind of wade through it. The library will meet again, the library board will meet again and discuss it and hopefully finalize all their information.
Do we eventually vote on this? or
We
yes?
have
The
to,
city
from the
council
library
has to
board,
be-
we have to vote on it as a council.
Right.
Could you repeat that?
I sit on the library board, and we have to bring it to the council. The library board has to bring it to council, and the council has to approve it.
Oh, so we do?
Yep.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we had jurisdiction over that or
Nope,
not.
you do.
Thank you.
Anything else for Steve? Okay, item 7, acceptance of committee minutes. I have before me the LD Fargo Public Library Board of Trustees minutes of February 16th, 2015, and the Lake Mills Housing Authority Rock Lake Manor minutes of January 27th, 2015. They'll go on record as read. And council business, board committee appointments, I have none. Is that correct, Steve? Didn't see any. Miscellaneous licenses, we have several tavern operators license. Heather, would you read the names of those, please?
Sure. Just all together.
Yeah, just read them all together.
Sarah Haft, Melissa Kamui, Michael Prochaska, Renee McFarlane, and Deborah Archie.
Do you have a motion of acceptance
So moved.
and a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion? If not, Heather, would you call the roll?
Mr. Shar,
Aye.
Mr. Foster,
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch,
Aye.
Mr. Grunin,
Aye.
Mr. Kokrovich.
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Item C, this is a discussion decision on the Arts Alliance of Greater Lake Mills Art Project and a letter of support. This is motion 16-4-1-1.
15,
What did I say?
16.
I stand corrected. 15.
You're ahead of us.
I'll get my eyeglasses checked. Heather, if you would, please.
Motion 15-4-1-1, authorizing the city manager to sign a letter of support for a National Endowment for the Arts Challenge grant jointly sponsored by the Lake Mills Main Street Program and Arts Alliance of Greater Lake Mills. Be it moved by the City Council of the City of Lake Mills, Wisconsin, as follows. Section 1, that the letters of support for the Lake Mills Main Street Program and the Arts Alliance of Greater Lake Mills joint effort in securing a national endowment for the Challenge Grant, copies of which are attached hereto and made a part hereof, are hereby approved. Section 2, that the city manager is authorized to sign said letter of support and to take such actions as necessary to endorse such letters of support. The city council does hereby approve the letters of support and authorizes the council president to sign the motion.
Do we hear a motion of acceptance?
So moved.
And a second, please.
I'll second.
And discussion, and I see that we have the Arts Alliance and the Main Street Program, too, also? Yep.
Do we need to suspend the
Waive.
rules?
Would you?
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules to allow the Arts Alliance and the Main Street personnel here tonight to speak.
I would second it.
Go ahead and call the vote.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mr. Grundon?
Aye.
Mr. Kirkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Shar?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
The floor is yours, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, this is the first step, Leslie DeMuth, Katie Otto, sorry. This is the very first step in getting the NEA Challenge grant. We need a letter of support from the city council and from the city saying they support this project. The grant is going to be due in the first week of May, and then we'll start to look at what the specifications for that site would be, you know, if there's any historical or environmental issues there. We'll put together, if we would receive this grant, then we would put together a request for qualifications from artists, and then from those, we would show those to the community and share them. We'd have a committee represented of the two organizations, a business owner, building owner, and artist. Then we would choose from the request for qualifications from the artists that we really liked, some requests for proposals, very specific, probably come up with 3, and at that point, we would choose one, and then we would come back for your approval and the Planning Commission. So this is just the very first step.
Can you tell us how long a time it could be before you even hear back from the,
We won't hear back until December 2015, and we would not be able to access that money, should we receive the grant, until anytime in 2016. So we'd be looking at doing it probably in the warmer weather. So there's like a long period of time here, but this is the first step. We need this letter of support from you.
Leslie, thanks for being here, you and Katie, but is there any change on any information since 2 weeks ago when you presented with Steve?
no.
No.
Okay, thanks.
Now, this grant, is this a mailed-in grant, or is this a grant that's?
It's all electronic, so should you approve this letter, I would need it sent to me electronically, and then they're very, very particular. So I have 3 letters of support I'm going to send in, and I have to put them into one PDF file. So I think you'd have to send it electronically, and if I understand it correctly, not a PDF, so that thus I could put it into one PDF. But I mean,
They could send it on paper, and I can scan it, and we can turn it into a PDF, so whatever works best for you.
Oh, okay. Looks like a good idea to me.
Anything else? Anybody else? Well, I sure appreciate your efforts
This is the girl who's putting in the mammoth amount of time, so,
So hopefully we'll get something lasting going on.
yeah. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for your support.
Thank you.
And could I have the roll call, please?
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mr. Grunin?
Aye.
Mr. Kirkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Shar?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Okay, item D, this decision discussion on the Jefferson County Library Federated Systems affiliation. And I guess I'll start off with Steve on this one.
Technically, it's not a decision tonight. We discussed that a little bit earlier.
Right.
Originally, it looked like we might be called upon to make a decision tonight, but the process, I can tell you that the Jefferson County Board actually gave it a unanimous approval last night. And so they have distributed the resolutions, which I think you have in in some of the information that was distributed tonight. The whole process started quite a while ago with the Jefferson County Library Board doing a update of their comprehensive plan and having issues with the Mid-Wisconsin Federated System.
Maybe Gerard could, and he's staff, so we don't have to waive the
Yeah.
the minutes, or the rules. Maybe Gerard could explain a little like as he did to the library board.
Were there any questions to begin with, or?
Just basically, why are we doing
Well, I
this?
guess, well,
Well,
Yeah.
no, I was just going to say, when I read through it, it looks like, are you under a timeline too? And if you're kind of late, this wouldn't even take effect for another year?
correct.
Okay.
Well, to kind of explain the whole basics, the state is split into several different library systems, and we're in Mid-Wisconsin, which is a 3-county system. And to leave, any county can leave and go to an adjoining system. It has to be adjoining, like we can join Racine or something like that. And in the statute, it's written that you have to do it by a certain time. And we also have a timeline within the library system because we use a shared automation system, computer system, and to leave that, we have to give a notice, I think by the end of April. But the reason behind it is that we've been with Mid-Wisconsin since its inception in like 1980 or so. And there's never been a high degree of satisfaction with Mid-Wisconsin. And a few years ago, when Mid-Wisconsin started doing strategic planning, they decided that one of the things, or I'm sorry, when the Jefferson County Library Board started to do strategic planning, they decided to evaluate Mid-Wisconsin and all the neighboring systems. And so that started happening this past November. The Jefferson County Library Board, which I can't remember how many people are on the board, 5, formed a subcommittee and did a very in-depth eval of all the neighboring systems. And after doing comparisons among all those, there's, let me think now, 5 total. There's South Central, which is Dane County, a bunch of other counties, Mid-Wisconsin, Waukesha, Lake Shores, which is Walworth and Racine, and Rock County, which is Arrowhead. And it came down to between Waukesha and South Central, and it was a matter of services in comparison to Mid-Wisconsin. Both South Central and Waukesha are very much forward-looking. They're much more active with their libraries. They treat the library as more of a customer than as just somebody to deal with, is what it feels like when we're with Mid-Wisconsin. South Central, though, they're really huge. We were afraid we might get lost in the mix, and they're also significantly more expensive. Waukesha, their finances are very sound. Their computer system seems to be very stable. By joining them, we'd be getting a lot of services, just a lot of very popular online databases that our customers don't have access to right now. And the catalog would be a lot bigger as well. And so right now, the catalog would be so big and it'd be growing. So there's a lot more material available to everybody here. And that's really the big thing behind library systems, is that they're all sharing everything, all their collections. So you could have a small, tiny library in Jefferson County like Palmyra that has access. If we join Waukesha, I think the total is going to be 1.8 million items available. I mean, Palmyra probably has 20,000 on their shelves, if that. And so there's been dissatisfaction with Mid-Wisconsin really for about 30 years. I've been here 10 years, and it's been kind of mediocre. And after the evaluation, Jefferson County Library Board decided to pursue the merger with Waukesha. And so the process now is that each city within the county has to vote whether or not to do this. And by statute, you need 80% of the county population to vote yes, and then it goes to the county board, and the county board votes. And there is a timeline by statute, and I think it was the end of May, the beginning of May. Can't remember offhand.
Okay.
Did I explain that okay? Is there any, did I miss anything?
Thanks, Gerard, for being here.
And with the timeline, we have enough time actually to get everything done and get it done this year?
Yes, well, last night, we had a special meeting of the library board last night just to discuss this topic. For instance, drafting a letter from the library board in support of the merger to the city council. And so we'll be working on that, and our next regular meeting is in 2 weeks. They'll finalize the letter, send that to the city. But yes, there is enough time. I was a little hesitant when we started doing this in January because it was a really compacted timeline. But if we're going to do it, the idea is we'll just go ahead and do it. There's enough time to do it rather than wait a year and a half and go over it again.
Well, I'm wondering if, this sounds like it's been pretty well researched between the county system and it's been posted as a discussion decision item. Can't we vote on it tonight?
I think you can.
I don't see any reason to put it on another agenda if we can take care of it now.
What are we exactly voting on, though?
It would be to withdraw from the Mid-Wisconsin Federated System
Correct.
and to join the Waukesha.
Waukesha County Federated Library System.
Well, 2 weeks isn't going to make any difference. We could have that drafted and back in 2 weeks, couldn't we?
The timeline isn't going to affect us. We could do it in the first meeting in May, which is probably when we'll have all the information available to us based on, when the library board meets again and then, to generate all the data and get it prepared. Ben was more than satisfied, Ben Waymeyer, the county administrator, with us being able to do it at that first meeting in May. So,
Might
But
be
if
better to have
you want to do it
something
tonight,
before
you're more
us.
than
Have all
capable.
the information before we
Yeah.
finish it. And you're comfortable with the timeline, so.
Sometimes there are specific resolutions. I don't know in this case if there are, but
Yes, there is. That's
So-
provided in the packet.
Well, then that's a good reason to wait. I agree.
Thank you for all the homework.
And there was some data that was provided last night that was incorrect and needs to be kind of cleaned up, and
Yeah, I was wrong in some numbers. I was going over them again today. And so I just as soon be able to get the numbers. Because, we'll end up being more money. You're paying for more services, but you have to pay to get a little more services. But even when you're paying, my thought is we're getting more than the value that we're paying out.
so how much more would that cost us annually? If you're not ready, don't say, because
I don't want to give a number and be wrong, because then,
yeah, I noticed that there was a spreadsheet that came in, and then I noticed there was some debate about what the numbers were. And
right.
it's not necessarily that it's going to cost us less money. It's actually going to cost us a little bit more, but
Correct.
the services will be much higher.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll wait for the next meeting to get the agenda then.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Brings us to item E.
And we have a new copy of the motion. In front of us tonight, there was an error in the one in the packet.
Okay, thank you. And this is a discussion decision on the City Council Board and Commission agenda newspaper publications, and this is motion 15-4-1-2. Heather, if you would, please.
Motion 15-4-1-2, Council Policy on Agenda Publishing and Posting. Whereas the City Council of the City of Lake Mills has authority within statutory requirements over the publishing and posting of City of Lake Mills meeting agendas, and whereas the City of Lake Mills has heretofore followed statutory requirements and provided agendas to all organizations requesting a copy, and whereas the Lake Mills Leader has historically published the agendas at no cost to the city, And whereas the City of Lake Mills has no statutory requirement to publish said agenda. And whereas the City Council has reviewed the proposed policy, be it therefore moved this 7th day of April 2015 by the City of Lake Mills Council that Section 1, the current policy practice is hereby approved and the city manager is authorized to administer the policy in accordance with the provisions provided below. Section 2, the council determines that the agenda will be posted in 3 public places as required by law. Section 3, the council determines that the agenda will be provided to all organizations and individuals requesting a copy in writing. Section 4, the council determines that the agenda will be posted on the city's website. The city council does hereby approve the policy revision as noted in sections 1 through 4 above and authorizes the council president to sign the motion.
Do you have a motion of acceptance?
So moved.
And a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, and discussion?
Well, I'm sad about it. But I guess that's the way the world is these days.
Yeah.
Nobody will do anything for nothing.
Well, just for the listening public, that the agenda which was published in the Lake Mills Leader historically for no cost, now the company wants payment, but it was a significant amount.
It's like
The
$2,500
The original,
a year.
the original one came in at about $100. The second one that came in from the actual finance guy from the company came in at about $25 per pop. But that's still, over $2,500 a year for us. And so we're not required to publish the agenda in the newspaper. We're required by public meetings law to provide an agenda to anybody who requests it from a media outlet. So any newspaper that requests it, we send it to them. We post it on our website. We post it at the 3 public sites. We've met all the statutory requirements for agenda.
And it is very convenient to read it online on the website. I do that routinely, and very easy to follow and clear.
You're
It's
talking
become-
about our website?
Yeah, the cities.
okay.
City's
So I
website.
guess maybe we'll just have to encourage our citizens to bookmark the city website and, open that up and take a look at the agenda. You'll even get the agenda faster than you would if you waited for the paper.
Right.
There are a couple other things we do. We provide it on cable TV. So if you're looking at the cable TV, it's usually on there. We also could do, if people request it that aren't with media outlets, we can just do an email blast and send it out to people, put them on a list and blast them if they provide us with the email. Those are a lot of what the cities and villages are doing now rather than paying to have their agendas published.
Okay.
And just so I guess everyone's clear, that's not just council, that's Parks Board, Police and Fire, Public Works,
Economic
that's everybody's.
development,
And
yep,
that's, so
everything.
go to the website if you're interested and you'll
Right.
find them there.
And actually, the Lake Mills Leader has been one of the last ones in the hometown group to go that way, and one of the last ones in the state, because this was an issue 2 years ago for a lot of cities that I saw. So, but it's finally come to us, and
So,
now we have to make the adjustment.
All right.
so in essence, we owe Matt a thanks for holding out this long, I guess, huh?
Okay, call the vote, please.
Mr. Grundon?
Aye.
Mr. Kukevich?
Aye.
Mr. Shar?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
Item F is Resolution 15-11, authorizing the use of fund balance to pay TID 4 expenses. Heather?
Resolution 15-11, authorizing the city manager to direct the treasurer, finance director to transfer funds. Whereas the city council of the city of Lake Mills reviewed the 2015 annual capital projects budget on November 18, 2014, and whereas the 2015 annual capital projects budget may only be amended by vote of the city council as provided for under section 65.90 subsection 5A of Wisconsin statutes, whereas the tax increment District Number 4 plan has short-term financing needs for development-related projects due to state legislative changes, assessment changes, and elongated construction schedules. Whereas the tax increment district has requested that the 2015 annual capital projects budget may be amended by transferring funds from unreserved fund balance to tax increment District Number 4 fund for development-related projects. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Lake Mills that the annual capital projects budget of the City of Lake Mills, Wisconsin for the calendar year beginning January 1, 2015 is hereby amended as follows. The unreserved fund balance, the adopted amount was $2,100,000. The amended amount would be $1,700,000. And the tax increment District Number 4 subtotal adopted was $1,082,560. The amended amount would be $1,482,560. Be it further resolved that the city clerk is hereby directed to give required notice to the public in accordance with Section 65.905A of Wisconsin statutes by publishing said adopted resolution. Be it further resolved that the city council does hereby authorize the council president to sign this resolution.
Do we have a motion of adoption, 15-11?
So moved.
And a second, please?
Second.
And discussion. What was the main monies required for this transfer?
Well, we lost $75,000 from the Walgreen deal.
Right,
So we lost $25,000 in this year's taxes. We had to pay out $25,000 from the previous 2 years. The Act 145 on the the Madison College situation reduced our increment pretty substantially, and so we generated less dollars. And then we ended up, like in the Wiesa deal, and that we ended up paying more than we anticipated for some of the right-of-way acquisition. And those are the three main ones. One of the other ones is where it says elongated construction. The amount of, if you remember when we originally did the plan, the Gunlock project was anticipated to be done by the end of November. It didn't actually get completed until February, and so the amount of increment wasn't the full amount that we were anticipating. Now we've had the one new building go in this year. We've had some other projects that are coming online that'll probably be done in the next year or two. And so I'm anticipating we shouldn't have any problem being able to repay this relatively quickly, but in the interim, we need to fund those project costs. And we have three things still coming, and we have finalizing the lift station or pump station 13, which is that. We also have right-of-way acquisition for Elm Street, which are still coming in. We have three of those still coming in. So those are primarily where this will go. We did something very similar. Well, we did exactly the same thing with TID increment number 2. There we did about a little over $1 million, and it's paid back. It's paid it down to $600,000, and we could have taken it down to $500,000 this year, but we left the funds in there just depending on what happens with some of the development issues in that district next year.
okay. Any other questions? Heather, if you would.
Mr. Kirkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Schar?
Aye.
Mr. Foster?
Aye.
Mrs. Fritsch?
Aye.
Mr. Grundon?
Aye.
Motion passed 5-0.
I do want to note that we had originally anticipated doing Elm Street this year. That will not be done.
Yeah.
We'll buy the right-of-way, but we won't do the construction until we're guaranteed of having the funds available.
Sure, understandable. Okay, ordinance 1145 is Class B wine-only winery license fee, first reading. Heather, if you would.
Ordinance 1145, Class B, wine-only winery license fees. The City Council of the City of Lake Mills, Jefferson County, Wisconsin, does ordain as follows. Section 1, Section 3-1-2-C, Classes of Licenses, Fees of the Lake Mills Municipal Code is hereby amended by adding the following. Class B wine-only winery license at $100 per year. Section 2, all ordinances or parts of ordinances inconsistent with or contravening the provisions of this ordinance are hereby repealed. Section 3, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon passage and publication.
And council, this is this for manufacturing or sale?
We only have one business in town that this is applicable to. It's the Lewis Station Winery.
Sure.
So it has to do with, they can sell it, but they have to be a winery in order to sell it.
I see.
So it's a new class of license, and because it's new, we have to establish the fee. And this is the suggested maximum fee in the code, and it's consistent with other licensing, such as beer only, Class C wine for restaurants. Those sorts of licenses are $100, so we're recommending that we keep it consistent with the others. The only one that's larger and more, much more costly is the actual hard liquor license. Those are $400 a year.
Okay.
So this is $100.
Okay, so ordinance 1145 will go on to the second reading. And ordinance 1146, restricting the parking on Oak Street in front of the U.S. Postal Office. This is going to be tabled or removed?
Correct. When I was getting ready to draft the ordinance so that it could go in the packet, it came to my attention that I need measurements. We can't just say it's the first parking space on Oak Street. I have to have actual measurements, so I have to get that from the street department. So I'll have it for your next agenda.
Okay. And recommendations for future agendas.
I have a report ready when you want it. My husband and I went to a Conto to look at the bike trail up there, and I can tell you before anything that it is not apples and apples at all. It's a completely different setup, but if you want me to report back, do you want to put it on the next agenda?
Yes, if you would. That would be great. Thank you,
Thank you,
Diane.
Diane.
We also have the executive session that we'll have on, and it'll be the organizational meeting. So we'll have like the election of the council president and the vice president, and then we'll go through and do the official newspaper and the depositories and down through those typical items that we normally do in the organizational meeting.
Suppose.
And the poll is still open for another 15 minutes, so if you haven't voted, come
Hurry
on
down.
down. Okay, I have a motion of adjournment.
So,
Okay, I'll
Second?
second.
well, whatever.
I'll
You can
move.
split it however you want.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we are adjourned.